What's going on, Warriors? It's your boy, Lionheart, and back. Feels good, man. I'm doing good. I hope you guys are doing good. And we're about to get this one. Oh, man. I wish this could have been a better topic that I bring up today. But this is something that needs to be addressed. Because gaming, the thing that we hold dear, is under threat. It's in danger. It's in danger. Can you indulge me for a little bit? Just a little bit. I just want to take a little bit of your time. It won't take too long. Right? I've been gaming since the 90s. Yeah? Well, 90s? The first game I ever got in my life was Final Fantasy VIII in 1999. That was the first game I ever got in my entire life, right? And, you know, I got games still mint, fresh, still works, from Dreamcast. You know, I got some JoJo's. You know, no one could take these games away from me. Yeah, I even got they're these things they used to put on the outside of them, right? Still got all these games. No one could take them away from me. I got my Dreamcast. My Dreamcast still works. Oh man, Capcom versus SNK. No one could take these games away from me, right? I can play these games whenever I want. Just the other day, I was playing Marvel vs. Capcom. Right? All these games, fresh. Look. See that? Mint. No scratches. Clean. Still works. Over 20 years old. You know, even Xbox. Man, Jet Set Radio Future. Oh, man. See me if you remember this one. This is PlayStation 2. Anubis. Zone of Enders. We got some Burnout Paradise. Oh. My baby. Bayo. I still got a 14-inch monitor. Yeah? Well, TV. So that I can play these games. Because it feels so much better playing it on an LCD screen. I don't know why. There's something about it. The very first game I ever bought in my entire life. The first video game I ever played. This is it. You're looking at my very first ever game. Come on. Mint. Look at that. Black disc. The disc is black, bro. Galbadia. Look at this. I think you get the message. Yeah? I think you get the message. Yeah? My first... Look at that. Look. Clean. Clean. See that? Let me show you. Look. No scratches. No scratches. Yeah. Just so we clear, this game, this almost 30 years old. Yeah. That was my first ever video game. First ever. Oh, no, wait a second, was it? Yeah, it was. Sorry, I thought it was PS2. And then, of course, you got these games. My Monster Hunter Wilds. Well, this is recent, but, I'm just showing... don't worry, everything's got a reason why I'm showing you this, yeah? I ain't showing that garbage game. Well, let me show it to you, look. Garbage, but still. Right. We got the Final Fantasy remake. We got the Dragon's Dogma. We got Resident Evil 4. We got the Spider-Man 2. We got the Final Fantasy. I think it's 15. I can't remember the number of it. Yeah, and then we got this Final Fantasy. No, this is remake. The other one I showed you was Rebirth, right? 1 second. Yeah, sorry. Final Fantasy Rebirth was this one. Yeah. And then we had Final Fantasy Remake. Yeah. We got Stellar Blade. All these type of games, bro. Yeah, I just love my gaming. Yeah. I love to buy my video games. And I like to keep them and I like to play them periodically. Like, a month ago, I played Final Fantasy VIII. Yeah. I did a complete brand new playthrough. And this is somebody that I got so many hours in Final Fantasy 8 that the colour of the timer has gone purple. White, red, yellow, blue, green. I've gone through the counters, 9999. The counter stopped. That's how much I went in. Yeah. The rival schools. I know, I'm not going to do any nonsense, but, just in case you think, oh, these might be empty. Those are not real games. Real games, man. These are real games. Evil Zone. Yeah. I destroyed the disc. Yeah. If you know about Evil Zone, then yeah. Yeah. So, hey. And we got the original Resident Evil 2. All physical. All originals. Right? I love my video games. My physical video games. And I play them, These are not just games I keep just for keepsake. I play them. And no one can take them away from me. But in this new age, is something that they try to take away from us. Recently, PlayStation did something where they removed, I think it was 500 plus movies from people's accounts. So if you're on the PlayStation, or you have this PlayStation account or whatever it's called, right? And you bought movies, they're now gone. Removed from your library, yeah? And they said it was because of licensing, yeah? Some type of licensing issue that they had that didn't allow them to allow you to keep it anymore, yeah? So, yeah. You bought it, you don't own it anymore because they decided that. Now they did this, I think it was 2 weeks ago they did that, right? And on the same day, they deleted the PlayStation Vita and the PS3 store. Gone. Just like that. And then and before that, they introduced something called dynamic pricing. Yeah. Where different prices, different areas, different countries, different towns, different regions can have different pricing. So they could have a game for £100 in the UK, and then say, we're going to discount it and we're going to discount it and give it to you for £90. So you get a nice little sale. And then somewhere else, like in France, they can have the exact same game, but they will sell it for £80. And then they can have another game, that same game in Spain for £100. And that same game somewhere else, maybe Australia, for £95. Same game, different pricing, dynamic pricing. What is that? What is that? But you know what? Who cares about that, right? Because, hey, you could just go on the internet, find somewhere that sells that same game for cheaper. So, they're doing all that nonsense. Whatever, man. I'll just go to Shop2Net, or, you'll go to GameStop or somewhere like that. Not Amazon. We don't shop at Amazon. We don't support Amazon, that garbage. Yeah. But, yeah, you can just go places and buy the game. But not anymore. Because they're trying to get rid of physical media. Physical games. This is what they don't want you to have. They don't want you to have the game, the disc. They don't want you to have the actual game itself. They don't want you to have it. They don't want you to have it. What they're trying to sell you now is the box and a piece of paper with a digital code. What does that even mean? Because they're just selling you the license. And these days, with video games, not all of them, but a lot of them, like a shocking amount of them, are always online. So if there's no internet connection, even if it's a single player game, the game will just stop working. Yeah. And with all games, in general, if you do not have a license, the game will not work. License is a very important word. So when I say no game in existence will work, this game won't work without a license. This game won't work without a license. This game won't work without a license. Nothing will work without a license. Now, you remember what I said before? About 2 weeks ago? It was around about, say, June 25, the 25th of June, 25th, 26th of June, something like that. Somewhere around there, yeah. PlayStation deleted over 500 movies, not just from their whole server. They deleted it from people's accounts. They went into people's accounts and removed the movies that people have bought because of licensing issues. What did we say games are again? Licenses. They're doing it right in front of our noses, man. Right in front of us, they're trying to take everything away from us. That's not all. That's not all, yeah? There's this thing that came out in April, yeah? Where this year, they changed their terms and conditions. This year. Where your account can be deleted if you do not access your account for 36 months. Your account is gone. It's gone, deleted, removed. What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. They just delete your account. And when they delete your account, they specifically say in their terms and conditions that they adjusted in April of 2026, yeah, that, I think it was April, May or April, something like that. It was recently, yeah, like less than, right now it's July. They made this change is either late April or early May of 2026, yeah, where if you do not log into your account on PlayStation for 36 months, your account is gone. Everything gone. Your DLC is gone. Your games is gone. Your licenses, which is the game, because it doesn't allow you to access the game, gone. Anything you had on that console, wiped. Yeah? And they said it is irreversible on the terms and condition where it says account closure. Yeah? When you close your account or the account gets closed. Irreversible. Cannot be changed back. What? Like, I'm so confused. They would dare do this. This is just say they've been laying the groundwork for this for ages. For ages, man. And then and not only that, right? Because I think they're in collusion with Rockstar, to be honest with you, when it comes to GTA 6. They're doing this thing where they say we're moving away from PC. I mean, that's strange because a lot of people are on PC, but you must have confidence in your PlayStation. I don't know why you have so much confidence like that, but whatever, right? The picture becomes clearer. They're trying to create a monopoly. Cut off physical games. Cut off all other avenues of playing PlayStation games. Reduce where you can play and buy PlayStation games. The way they've done it is essentially so you can only buy it from PSN. I mean, you can go to a shop. You can go to a shop on the high street like GameStop or Game or whatever you're going to go to, and you can buy the game box. But you're literally just buying a box with a piece of paper with a code on it. That's all it is. It's just a waste of space. It doesn't do anything. It's a code, right? And they've been trying to justify it by saying stuff like, oh, digital games sell more than physical games. 85% of games sold are digital. So we're losing any type of reasoning, or it doesn't make sense to buy, to make physical games anymore. Even though there was a leak from Insomniac Games, I think it was like in 2023 or 2024, there was like a massive leak with like Capcom and Insomniac Games, and you saw their games list and you saw their sales list, like how much games were being sold, and their internal emails and discussions they'll have with Sony where they were discussing games and sales and pricing, all this type of stuff. And one thing that did pop up in those leaks, yeah, was almost every single game sold more physical than digital. It was like almost every single game was like in the 60%, 70%. Some games were 80%. Sold more physical than digital, right? And so you think, where are they getting this narrative for 85%? That's the key number. 85% games sold are digital. What does that... It doesn't look like... The math's not mathing, right? There is more to this story. When they sell a game, yeah? Spider-Man, for example, right? And you get... I don't know, but this is not there yet, but let's say this is in there, right? And this is like a day one code, a pre-order code, where you can download the Spider-Man, a brand new Spider-Man skin that you only get if you pre-ordered the game, yeah? This will be the digital code. They will count this as a digital game. digital that was sold. They're bundling it with the physical. So it counts to them as two purchases, as a physical purchase and a digital game purchase. So they're doubling up. Sale 1, physical. Sale 2, digital. So now that's got a percentage, 1%. This has got a percentage, 1%. And then they sell something on the PlayStation Network, that's another percent, right? So they're doubling up physical and digital. So the actual numbers, the analytics is nonsense. It's nonsense. Yeah? So I think I've got hay fever. My nose is blocked because I had to get my windows open because it's so hot here. Well, I guess it's not hot like in other places like France and stuff like that. I heard they're like 40 degrees and stuff like that, which is crazy. But yeah, so I ain't gonna cry too much about it. So yeah, you know, and then so that's what I'm saying. There was like leaks about that says that digital was better, but it actually wasn't. It wasn't, and it isn't. Right? It's just the narrative they're trying to create. They're trying to lay the groundwork to justify moving everything to digital. They're trying to say that physical is not required. Nobody wants physical anymore, right? And then what kind of like frustrates me is when you have PC players that say, I don't buy physical games anyway, digital all the way, who cares? Or you got people that have got consoles that say, I don't care, I only buy digital, I don't buy physical. They're changing the landscape so that if you buy a digital game, they have all rights to it. They can control it. If their servers go down, guess what? Your game goes down too. If they decide to remove the game because of licensing, guess what? That game gets removed not only from their store, but from the game too. You know, something like this happened before with a game called Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Because of licensing issues, they had to remove the game from the store. But guess what? It was still on your system. They couldn't touch it on your system because they hadn't implemented anything like that before. With this new system, when they remove it from the store, they can remove it from your console. And this happens today. There's this thing called Netflix, Amazon, where they are constantly removing movies from their libraries because of licensing. This is what they try to do with gaming. They try to turn gaming into a Netflix style rent. Own nothing, you buy everything, own nothing, and learn to love it. That's what they try to create. The economy they try to create. They try to steal gaming from us. And that's what I'm trying to say. Game these days is run by people that are not gamers themselves, man. They're not gamers, so they don't get it. They don't care. They don't understand, and they're not even trying to. They don't know what it means to be a gamer. Like, look at Xbox. The new CEO of Xbox. That's not a gamer. She's not a gamer. She don't know what she's doing. She's shutting down all these games, every single game, and any game whatsoever that they see is costing Xbox millions, but it's not making millions in return. But the games are in development. Games take years to develop. They even said something like the other day that they're going to shut down Arcane Leon. Yeah? The people that are making the Blade game. That game's been in development for 2 years. It was announced, and they had a trailer in 2024. And then 2 years later, not even 2.5 years later, 2 years later, you're shutting the game down, or potentially shutting the game down, right? Because there's no confirmation that it's been shut down officially, but that's what they are floating the idea of shutting the game down. It takes longer than 2 years to develop a video game, man. It's unbelievable. I mean, hey, Ninja Theory, that studio garbage. So I don't really care about that, right? If I'm being honest with you, and I know that's savage, yeah. But I never, ever, we won't forgive them, will we, Dante? For what is it called? DMC Donkey Edition, Dante, the Donkey Hunter. No, no, no. We will never forgive them for that game, right? When they had the power, they completely disrespected my mans. Yeah, I'll never forgive Ninja Theory for that. So for them, they could go kick rocks. You know, it's sad that they're losing their jobs, but when they had the power, they were extremely arrogant. Extremely arrogant. Now, you know, comes round, goes round. Yeah. But they're just shutting game studios down and this, that, and the other. How many studios did they buy at one time? 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 studios. Like, Xbox is just a waste. Their fault because of the situation. It's their fault, right? PlayStation got no competition. And what happens when you got no competition? The one that owns the market, that holds the market share, the monopoly, can dictate and do whatever they want. This is the reason why I have always said it's super important for competition. I always tried to buy Xbox games and PlayStation games. I always did that. I always tried to buy a bit of both, right? Just so that I personally do my bit to have an even playing field. I used to play the 360. Yeah, this is the console I played, first of all. I completely missed the PS3 generation because I was on 360. Yeah? And then 360, Xbox, they screwed around. They screwed around, man. And that's when PS4. I moved to PS4. I completely skipped the next place Xbox phase, right? But then I did get the Xbox eventually, right? During the PS4 phase. I can't remember if that's the Xbox One. Yeah, I think it's the Xbone. Yeah, Xbox One. Yeah, I did get that console, right, eventually. But it was on the side. I played the PlayStation 4 more. But just for balance, I did buy some games on the Xbone, right? Some games, right? Just to keep a balance. But PS4, that was a console. Xbox, they messed around too much. They really lost me, if I'm being honest with you. And now PlayStation 5 is the console that I bought. They're screwing around. And so really, PC is looking appetizing right now. That's the area that I think I should move into, right? And you could say, yeah, but is there going to be the same? Because PlayStation succeed with what they're doing. That's going to lead the way for Xbox, for Nintendo, for PC, Valve, everybody to do what they are going to do and follow Xbox, increasing the prices, you know, remove the games from your library for licensing and all this type of nonsense. So yeah, they're inevitably going to do the same thing. But, you know, what was it? One Piece. What are One Piece? They're the Straw Hats. They're pirates, right? The Straw Hats. They're pirates. Yeah, I do like One Piece. Yeah. So you know, with PC, there are options that I can use at my disposal to get video games on the PC. You know, for good price, right? And, you know, while I'm doing that, you know, One Piece, the pirates, the Straw Hats, the pirates, you know, all good, right? So there are options on the PC, yeah, that I can entertain. And to me personally, I feel like gaming is betraying me, right? And it's not a good thing if I feel like I'm being betrayed, right? Because if you betray me, I'll betray you. I'll betray you and I'll never let you forget it. And that's what I feel like is happening. I'm being betrayed by video gaming. You are being betrayed. We're all being betrayed by video games. We've given them everything. There are times where I do not have to buy a video game. I don't have to pay money for it, but I do to support the game, because the only way you get nice things is by paying for them and supporting them. If you don't support them, doesn't make money, we don't get more. Hopefully, the company, the developer that we buy the game for, see it makes so much money, and they say, you know what, we can invest money into this. We invest more money into the gamers buy the game, we get money, they get the game, everybody's happy. Investments. But I feel like these days they're not invested in gaming. They're not invested in us. How do you increase, right, the price? No, how do you reduce the price of gaming? You're obviously going to stop doing physical games, so your factories are going to close down. You don't need to produce discs. You don't need to have the master copy that prints everything. You've reduced the cost. But that cost is not getting passed on to us. What is going on? It's very, very confusing to me. It doesn't make any sense. You're saving money on the factories, and you're not doing digital games anymore. You're not doing physical games anymore. You're making digital games, right? So with all that cost you've cut, where is our reduction in price? Where is it? It's non-existent, because it's not about giving us quality for money. It's not about giving us a good service. It's all about greed, because video gaming is run, controlled, owned by vampires that suck the life out of everything. As I say, man, gaming with these people in charge is doomed. It's doomed, man. It's over for us. It's over, and it's so unfortunate, man, because video gaming, that's where we come to escape the frustrations, the troubles of the world. And now it's following us here, because video gamers, we put our money where our passions are. And these people using that as a weapon to beat us over the head with. Even the PlayStation 5 and Xbox and all these consoles. These consoles have been out since 2020. 6 years. And they're increasing the price. The price is increased by hundreds of pounds. And I know because they're saying because of the chips and AI, the dog shit AI and all this type of stuff, right? But still, you're cutting costs somewhere. So we have to get those costs. No? No? No, okay. See what I'm saying? They don't care about us. They don't care about gaming. All they care about is money. And you can say, yeah, they're a company. They're supposed to care about gaming. True. True. But there are easier ways to make money. But why do they come to our space to get money? Because it's all about control. They want to control everything about gaming. They want to control everything about everyone, everywhere. Gaming is a part of that. Hollywood movies are not looking too good right now, right? So, they're looking at gaming. Gaming is the next frontier, right? And inevitably, it's not going to go well for them. It's not. When you look at what gaming is, and the people that indulge in gaming, a lot of aspects of gaming is about charity, right? If you look at content creators in the gaming space, how do they make a living? They make a living through people watching them, from people donating money to them, subscribing to them. People don't do that because they have to. They do that out of passion. They do that out of the desire to support something that they like, something that they enjoy, right? But they don't have to. So a lot of these things comes from desire, from passion, right? And there's only so far you can push people until they've had enough. And already, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, Valve are pushing way too hard, way too fast, right? It makes me sad. It makes me sad, man. Because where do we go? The whole thing about console gaming is the fact that it is an easy to access, cheaper alternative where you don't need to worry about upgrading your machine. You just buy a video game, yeah? You just buy a game, that's it. You pull it in, you play it. That's it. You don't need to worry about settings. You don't need to worry about your graphics card is adaptable. You don't need to worry about the chip or the motherboard, if it can play it or if it can run it or it'll slow down. It'll definitely play it, right? Sometimes performance can be really bad. I mean, look at Cyberpunk 2077 when it first came out. That thing was an abomination, yeah, when it first came out. They fixed it, but that game came out 2 years too early. Yeah, now this game is amazing. Now the game is just fantastic, right? But there was a time it didn't run right on console, right? But it always works on console. Now that ease of access, that cheaper option is no more. They talk about a PlayStation 6 being £1,000. Then you've got to get the controller. You obviously got to get hard drive. You'll get multiple hard drives if the games are going to be digital only, right? You got to get PlayStation Plus. Sorry, windows are open, so I know it's going to be a bit noisy. You know, all this stuff that's gone in the background. Yeah. And then, of course, you got to get PlayStation Plus, right? And then again, you look at PC. PC, you can get a powerful PC, right? You don't need to pay PC, PlayStation Network, or Xbox Gold, or whatever it's calling itself, or the Nintendo Plus. I don't know what they call it on Nintendo, right? You just play the games. It's online. It's online. It's over. With their money, their influence, and their power, they've taken gaming away from us. And we cannot be protected. Because you look at the thing that's going on with, for example, Stop Killing Games, right? I think it was the European Commission, yeah, that they went to. One of them, they went to the European Union or European Commission or something like that. And there's one body of the European Union that sided with Ubisoft and the game corporations, but there's another part of the European Commission, Union, whatever, that is still contemplating if they should pass laws to help Stop Killing Games. And that is the Stop Killing Games is like the initiative led by some guy, signed petition by gamers so they can be heard in the European Union about when a game server goes offline, they can't just turn the game into a brick, right? That's what the Stop Killing Games thing is, right? And just as that thing is going on, this thing with PlayStation is coming out. It's cooked, man. It's cooked. It's cooked. And even PlayStation are hiding. They're hiding. They haven't made a post since they announced this. The backlash has been crazy. Because thank goodness, there's more people that see how the damage this would inflict on video games than people that are defending the billion company. Yeah? Of course, you know, you've got to have defenders and people that would defend billionaires and billion companies, yeah? But there's more people that can see this is not good. They have the ability to completely wipe your digital library away just when they feel like it. Anything can happen in this world, and no one knows what's going to happen in the future. They could just wipe it. You say, how can you be off your console for 36 months? I can give you an example. There was a time where I went almost a year without playing my PlayStation 5. Because I was busy. I was still buying games, right? But I was like, I'll get to it. But things just keep on coming up, and I just don't get round to it, right? And I was just really just on my PC, doing my work, gaming, doing my stuff on that, and watching anime and watching YouTube and just doing whatever I had to do outside my house, right? Just didn't get round to playing my PlayStation 5. My Xbox, I haven't played my Xbox in about 4 years. Yeah, it's still there. I still clean it. I clean everything, but it's still there. It hasn't gathered dust, although it's gathering dust in the corner, but it's not dusty. Yeah, I pull it on, it will still work, but I haven't put it on in like 4 years. Easily, time could go by and you don't play a console if you're playing multiple consoles. I haven't played my Nintendo Switch in like 3 years. It happens. Right? So, yeah, that's all I really want to say about that. I'll look at this case, see what's going on with Sony. I'll do like follow-up videos if follow-up videos is required and stuff like that. But it's not good, really. As I say, they're trying to take gaming away from us. They're trying to monopolize the market. So if you want to get Grand Theft Auto 6, you only can buy it on the PlayStation Digital and make pricing games at like £80 to £100. It's like, what we doing, man? Increasing the console price by hundreds of pounds. Next console is going to be what? Over £1,000. What we doing, man? What we doing? That I cancelled my PlayStation 5 Plus subscription. To be honest with you, I don't even use it. I don't know why I buy it, to be honest with you. Right? I don't really play fighting games at the moment. Right? I probably will get Marvel Tokon and Final Fantasy, the last Final Fantasy game, if they are physical. If they're physical only. If they're not physical, they're digital, then I'm going to have to skip it, man. I'm going to have to skip those games, which is going to suck. But I have to make a stand. I'm drawing a line in the sand. I've already cancelled my PlayStation Plus. But that's not really a big deal because I don't really need it. Yeah. But from here going forward, I have no intention of buying any more PlayStation games. I'm just going to buy free-to-play gacha games. I mostly play games on my phone anyway, right? But I'll just move my free-to-play games onto my PC, right? That's my plan. And if I do get any games on the PlayStation, it's only going to be Marvel Tokon and Final Fantasy, the next one that comes out, the third installment of the, remake, rebirth. Yeah, but if I do get those games, physical only, those will be my last 2 games ever. Grand Theft Auto 6 could go kick rocks. I'm not buying that game. I'm pissed about that, but I'm not buying that game. I will not budge. I will not budge on that game. I mean, as I say, I'll watch like the Rad Brad or somebody play like the walkthrough. It's fine. It's fine. I don't need to own that game, right? But, we have to make a stand somewhere, and this is me making my stand, So, yeah. That's all I really wanted to say. Sorry, my voice sounds a bit weird. My nose is all blocked and stuff like that. But yeah, Warriors, I would say thanks for tuning in. Thanks for indulging me. I know this will be a long video for my first video back in a while. But yeah, Warriors, let me know what you think about this situation. If there's any information that comes up that I don't see, if you can please leave a message in the comment section. And then I can do a video on it. That would be great. And yeah, Warriors, take care. Stay blessed. We got to make a stand somewhere, man. Yeah. Laters.